We're really worried about what the structure will do while it's getting into place. Now, there's a potential for this new structure to work. We're not saying that it's impossible. It could maybe work if all the things are put in place correctly and it's all moved forward right. But it takes time to build that. It takes a lot of time to fundraise when you have no fundraising base to begin with. It takes a lot of time to write a plan. I spoke about how it takes a year to develop a really strong strategic plan. It can take a long time. So we're really worried about, well, what's going to happen from July 1 to the next July 1 while all these pieces are being put together. If the federal government says, oops, sorry, you're not qualifying, all of those arts organizations, 150 arts organizations that we serve through operational support, will not be getting any funds. We also give out a number of arts and education grants, programs for children, after-school programs, in-school programs, weekend programs, summer programs in rural communities where they have no summer programs. We support those kinds of things. Those will go away. We have an Arts on Tour roster where we underwrite the performances of individual performing visual and literary artists in small communities. Those won't be funded. We fund storytellers in libraries. We fund bluegrass bands at festivals. I don't know how those funds are going to be made up. The main concern that we have is for the rural communities. What's going to happen to them? Cities like Wichita or Salina, where they actually have a commitment of local funds for the arts. Those organizations also have, especially Wichita, the larger cities, have deeper pools of donors to draw from. I worry about Russell, Kansas, and I worry about Hayes, and I worry about Pittsburgh, and I worry about Chanute. Southeast Kansas in particularly is economically depressed. There's a lot of money that goes to social services and not as much money that goes to the arts. We're very concerned about what happens, especially in our rural communities where they're having difficulty attracting and retaining people anyway. Young people grow up, they go away to college, they leave. They don't come back to live there for the most part. Businesses don't necessarily come and build their company headquarters in those communities because this quality of life is not what they're looking for. They're looking for active arts communities. They're looking for high quality schools. They're looking for swimming pools and parks programs. They're looking for a population base that's highly educated and ready to work. Communities that are losing population, that are economically depressed, have a real hard time with those issues. Our piece of it, the arts piece, is a really important piece of that. So when people come to some of those small communities, they look around, they go, oh, this is nice, you can offer me a nice piece of land for free, but what is there for our families to do on the weekend? If these communities can say, we have an art center, we've got arts classes for the kids, we've got arts classes for the grown-ups, we have performances here once a month, we have an active community theater, so kids can grow up here learning all the kinds of things that big city kids can learn. What a great selling point. That will go away in a lot of our small communities, and that is very, very worrisome to us.
So those grants that we've received from KAC have gone a long way to allowing us to provide classes at 56 preschool centers here in Topeka and 26 after-school sites, including the Hope Center at the Rescue Mission in North Topeka. We're going to have to really work hard to raise more money to cover what the KAC grants were helping us fund, or else we're going to have to cut our programs. And that's the sad part of it. It's the rural areas that have smaller communities, that have smaller opportunities to have corporate support. The governor's most recent speech was saying that, the funding would come from private resources. Pretty much all of us are tapping into the same companies, the same local family foundations, and there really aren't a whole lot of other opportunities. Plus, some of the corporate headquarters have moved from Topeka to other states, or they've closed. So our, finding extra resources is really not likely to happen.
Oh, dang.
And growing up in a rural area, we had just a small community, and the arts programs were very, very necessary, and they were the only ones we had. So even though I feel like we will have to really think hard about our budget for next year and try to find additional sponsors, I'm really concerned about the children and the families and the communities in the whole other part of Kansas that are going to go without.
It's human nature. It's the beginning of science. It's the beginning of technology. It's the beginning of language. It's the beginning of everything that makes us what we are. And the reason they want to take it away from us is to grind us down. It's the only reason. Because the arts are good for the society. I know how much some of those folks like the Founding Fathers, so I thought I would point out that these people were smarter than they were and understood the importance to having this. It's funny how we can go this far, but we're back to just studying politics and war. It's ridiculous.
Have courage, take heart, use your brain, support the arts. Have courage, take heart, use your brain, support the arts. Have courage, take heart, use your brain, support the arts.
Well, Governor Brownback, what you doing? I mean, students like us, we need the arts. We live on them. That is how we thrive. I mean, I don't play football. I don't play basketball. But I definitely engage in the arts in my school. And I think that they do much more for our community at Topeka High. Much more than, pep rallies and assemblies. They make us who we are.
The Kansas Arts Commission supports arts that go out to all our communities, especially the rural ones that don't get the arts otherwise. So